Welcome one, welcome all into the CitrusTV studio for another edition of Beat the Bookie. I'm your host today, Noah Cierzan, and I've done all the research, analyzed all the spreads for the biggest betting weekend of the year, the Super Bowl. So whether you are new to the betting game or a long-time handicapper, I've got some picks you won't want to miss. But before we get into my picks, let's look back to last week. Nick Celia, he picked a college basketball slate that looked juicy on paper. Didn't work out for him, though. Put the entire lot on Alabama. Come on, Nick. What were you thinking? We're going to do better than that today. So we're getting into my picks, and when you're looking at the big game, of course I'm talking the Super Bowl, I think the best value you're going to get is on the expansive prop market. But before we get into those, let's look at the spread. The line opened at 3.5 points and has since moved to 4 points in favor of the Rams. Now, an important thing to note is that the winner of the last 12 Super Bowls has also covered the spread. With that knowledge in hand, I'm riding with the hottest team in all of football. Winners of 8 of their last 9. Give me the Rams to cover the 4 points. I think Aaron Donald has a field day on the Bengals O-line, and Los Angeles avenges its loss back in 2019. $5 on that. Heading over to the money line now, I'm still siding with Los Angeles, but I'm going for the first half money line instead. You get slightly better odds from -198 up to -178, and I think it's a safer bet given how I see this game going. Darren Ravel tweeted out some ticketing stats, and it looks like it's going to be a heavy Rams crowd. LA is playing in front of its home fans, and they'll have all the momentum early on. I also think you're hedging the spread bet a bit too, because one of the things the Bengals are best at is making second half adjustments. They've already got 2 second half postseason comebacks under their belts, so if they pull out another one, you have the safety net of Rams first half money line, $5 on that as well. Finally, we'll take a look at the point total that's sitting at 48.5. And if you look back in the Super Bowl history books, this is the line that is most often completely inaccurate. Back when the Rams were in Super Bowl 53, the total was 57.5 and the final score was 13-3. I don't see it being that drastic this year, considering it's going to be a close game in my opinion, but I'm still going to bet the under. A lot of people talk about Stafford and Burrow and the fact that they lead offenses that can put points on the board, but neither of them have been in the Super Bowl before, and it may take a couple drives to settle in. The point total opened at 50, so if you got the under there, bravo. But I see this being a 24-17 Rams win, so I'm still comfortable throwing $10 on the under. Now it's time for my favorite prop bets of the Super Bowl. But before I get to that, we've got a couple of special guests who have been soaking in that LA sun all week. So Ben, Jaron, and Brad, what are the hot props you've been hearing about down in SoCal?
Well, Noah, I'm sure you and many others are eyeing the player props, maybe the team props in this game, but I'm heading over to the sideline. I have the lemon lime Gatorade dump prop at +300. It's the best flavor. He knows it. I think he does too, and the players surely do. That's going to go either over McVay or Taylor. I'm sure of it. Lemon lime Gatorade.
So you're going to the end of the game. I'm going to the beginning of the game. The opening kickoff will not be a touchback. I am taking them to return it because, yes, it does hit at a 60% rate this regular season, but in 18 of the last 20 Super Bowls, they have been returned. Plus, Pat McAfee talked about how the ball's not worn down, so you can't kick it as far in the opening kickoff.
I will say this, that makes some sense. You're really getting kind of analytic-y here. How's this? Cooper Kupp is the best receiver in football this year. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to have to double him, you'd think, just like the Buccaneers did in the divisional round. In that game, Odell Beckham Jr. erupted one-on-one the entire game. Depending on the book you're using, +2,700 for Super Bowl MVP, OBJ making a big splash in the Super Bowl.
No better time than the big game to beat the bookie.
Love that OBJ bet from Brad, by the way. It's a long shot, but you get a lot of value on a player I love this Sunday. For my first prop bet, though, I'm heading to Joe Mixon's secondary market where you can get an edge on the books. Mixon is a running back, so I'm going to his receiving props in a spread that is quite literally stealing money, so maybe keep this one on the down low. But I'm hammering Joe Mixon longest reception over 13.5 yards. He's gone over this number in 5 straight dating back to the regular season, and you get this at plus odds. No questions asked, throwing $20 on that. We'll keep it on the Cincy offense, who I believe will be playing from behind, so give me the over on 36.5 Burrow pass attempts. He's been right around this number in the playoffs, but I just don't think the Bengals will be able to establish the run against the Los Angeles defensive line. Burrow has gone over this number in his last 2 games, and I think it happens again on Sunday. We'll throw $10 on that. Behind Mixon, my second favorite prop is Van Jefferson hitting the under on 33.5 receiving yards. Now, if you're a casual fan, you may be wondering who in the world is Van Jefferson, and I wouldn't blame you. During the Rams postseason run, he only has 5 total receptions and only gone over 33.5 yards once. The Bengals safeties are arguably the best part of their defense, and I just don't see them allowing Van Jefferson to get over the top. Stafford also hasn't looked great recently throwing the deep ball, so if you want to sound like a football smarty pants at the Super Bowl party, tail Van Jefferson under 33.5. I'm throwing $15 on that. And to finish things off, I had to bet on kicking Evan McPherson, who's been arguably the biggest star of the postseason for the Bengals. He's a perfect 12 of 12 in the playoffs, and Zach Taylor won't be shy about rolling out his rookie for some big kicks. I'll spread $5 on over McPherson kicking points at 7.5, a fun little prop to round out my Super Bowl card. So to wrap things up real quick, we'll recap my picks. I'm riding the Rams in this Super Bowl spread first half money line. I also don't think it's going to be a high scoring affair. I'll take the under on the over-under at 48.5 points. And for my props, I got a couple I like, specifically Joe Mixon. This is free money at plus odds. Bet that one for sure. And fade Van Jefferson. Don't think he has a big game on Sunday. That's all the time we have on this edition of Beat the Bookie. Be sure to check out future episodes on CitrusTV.com. But for now, I'm Noah Cierzan saying so long and enjoy the big game.